Greetings to everyone out there in YouTube land. I'm Ahmed Hassanin, and I just want to give a shout out to Coach Dan. Thank you for all the support you show the team and the players. Everyone hit the like, subscription button, and yell woo in the comments. Thank you, and go Lions.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Arnold and St. Brown.
What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live Tuesday morning show edition. Some of you probably stayed up pretty late last night watching the team we're going to play next week, the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys all get it. They played a late night game. Hey, one heck of a run by Trevor Lawrence to go ahead and win that game there. I think, man, that might have been one of the crazier 1-yard runs you'll ever see. But I digress. As you can tell from today's thumbnail for the show, Lions have a little bit of an emergency situation happening. There are a couple different rumors, suggestions, who the Lions might try to acquire to help alleviate some of the worries that you have in the secondary. Because let's face it, anybody who's a Lions fan who went through last year, you probably got a little PTSD going through this thing, and I understand it. You know, you had the entire defense on the sideline when you got to the playoffs last year. Well, so far in just the first, I don't know, a little over a quarter of the season, you guys get it. This Detroit Lions secondary has been eviscerated the last 2 weeks. How they can move forward, what will they do going into this weekend's game, and probably more importantly, what are they going to consider doing and who to acquire to help alleviate this long-term throughout the rest of the year. It does sound like Terry and Arnold, if you did not catch the video yesterday or watch it, see it somewhere, whether it be on this channel, other channels, or in print media, I don't know, online, sounds like he could potentially be out for the year. That has not been confirmed. MCDC did say in his presser yesterday, it's just going to be a real long time. DJ Reed, I don't know, my guess is probably after the bye, maybe at the longest a week or two after the bye, he's returning, so that would help quite a bit. But what they're going to do, let's dive into that during the main top of the day. We'll talk to Anthony from Roar Lions UK also halfway through this show. We'll get into that, the 5 headlines now, and everything else in between. Real quick, though, before we get into all the above, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're 167 subs away from hitting 15,000. If you could help out with that, man, I would be in your debt for sure. Also, if you have a free second in time, it won't cost a dime. Reach on over on your screen, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Next but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. Have a conversation, see what I can do to use over 30 years in the industry. Save you time, save you hassle, save you money. Make sure nobody overcharges you. Make sure nobody overworks you. Make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. So when you sell that property or buy that property or lease that commercial property, whatever it may be, you're all set up for success. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get this show rocking, rolling, going, and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, starting off with some positive information here for you today. Jared Goff bolsters MVP candidacy with record-setting start. Story by Jeff Risdon, Lions Wire. It's a fair question to now ask probably every year for this Detroit Lion, Jared Goff. Is he an MVP frontrunner? Wrong graphic there. What we can say is there's not many quarterbacks in the league this year, this far in, that have done a good job or even a better job than Jared Goff. Jared Goff is playing at a record monster pace. The completion percentage, everything else you want to throw out there with them, He's got it. And if you look across the NFL right now, we always used to say Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback in the league. Is he currently still the best quarterback in the league? Is Lamar Jackson? Well, you guys already know Lamar Jackson's out for the foreseeable future. What we do know is Goff is taking care of the ball. The Lions are winning. And what do people look at when they're trying to determine who an MVP person is going to be, especially at the quarterback position? They look at all the above. So with Goff performing at a high rate, I think we all can say that's the graphic I was looking for. I mean, he just keeps setting record after record after record with his completion percentages, touchdowns, point scores. I think there's a real chance if he continues this throughout the year, there's a real possibility Jared Goff may actually win this thing. What would you guys say? Is Jared Goff one of the front runners for the MVP this season? Who would you put better than him? Maybe some would say Allen over in Buffalo, but outside of him, I'm not sure if there is somebody really this far in the season who's superseded what Jared Goff is doing. And nobody would have guessed that when we acquired him from the Rams, but it is what it is. Last year, he was in the conversation, even the year before. This year, I think he's actually a front runner for it. Let's see what the Duke Crew has to say about that. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines now. Kirby Joseph joins elite company with latest interception against Bengals. Story by Patrick Renfro of Sideline Report. You know, in the history of the NFL, let alone the last, whatever you want to say, 20 years, how many safeties, how many people, period, on defense? Let's take safety off the board. But how many people have been more effective than Kirby Joseph in the start to his year? You know, Joseph's 20 interceptions puts him in elite conversation as he joins Hall of Famer Ed Reed as the only safety since 2000 to record 20 interceptions through the first 4 seasons of his playing career. You know, and yeah, I get it. The one Sunday, if he wouldn't have got it, Terry Arnold would have got it. Okay, I get that. But he did get it. So we also get this. The Lions have playmakers on both sides of the ball, and Kirby Joseph is clearly one of the Lions' bigger playmakers. Whether it's last year, the year before that, this year, he keeps doing the same things. He's in the right place at the right time. I know some will say against the Browns, you know, their quarterback just threw it up there and, you know, anybody could have made that pick. Well, that might be true, but guess who did make it? He's always around the ball. The ball just comes his way. You know, and I know there were some people that were throwing him shade last year when we played San Francisco and said, man, you know, they just threw those balls up and he just happened to be there. Okay, once again, you just happen to always be around the ball and be in the right place at the right time. You almost have to wonder if Kirby Joseph has magnets in his gloves and brings the ball there. He's a ball hawk. He's improved his game every year out there. He's dealing with an injury. We all get it. He's been playing on basically one leg the entire season. Give him a lot of credit for playing through that. He didn't practice last week, still was productive, still made an impact. I have no idea how much, you know, that knee is slowing him down, but I think we can all agree to some degree it is affecting him. The fact that he could still be a ball hawk, still get out there and make tackles, still get out there and perform as one of the best safeties in the NFL, give that man credit. He's playing through some pain and being effective for this Lions D. And especially since he's in the secondary, we all get it per the main topic of the day and some of the conversations yesterday. Lions secondary is pretty beat up, and they need him and Brian Branch out there even more now than perhaps ever before. Where would you rank, Duke Crew, Kirby Joseph in the NFL? Is he the number 1 free safety in the league? Is he in top 5? You know, go ahead and let me know your thoughts. But he's prior to last year, I should say, my personal thoughts were that he was a very one-dimensional player. If he wasn't playing single high safety, he wasn't very effective. That's no longer the case. You could see by halfway through last season, he could play, you know, up at the line. He could play to some degree the slot cornerback position, sort of like Brian Branch. He could play all over. The Lions now choose to play him mostly as the high side safety, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only place he can play. And I give him a lot of credit. Some people just fall into a certain zone. Hey, this is where I excel. I don't need to play other spots. The Lions are very gifted that the fact that both of their starting safeties have evolved to the point where they can play multiple positions, and we all get it. That's what MCDC wants from this team. All right, next to the 5 glorious headlines now. Terry Arnold reveals how far he is away from 100%. SI.com. Story by John Macron. I'm bringing this story up for one simple reason. This story came out before MCDC's presser yesterday, and I get it seems like the great divide on this team or the fan base. Half of you think he's playing well. Half of you think he's trash, trade him. The only thing I always say when people say somebody's trash and trade him, if you think he's trash, who else is going to give you anything for him? Because they probably have the same opinions then. And if you're not willing to play him, especially just 1 year removed from being a number one draft pick, that probably is a telling sign to most other teams. Whether your team, he's terrible, or team, he's pretty good, I don't know. But here's what we do know. He's been playing through a whole lot of injuries and being somewhat effective out there. I think we can all at least agree he's somewhat effective out there. We all knew about the hamstring injury. Then the hamstring injury became a groin injury in week 1. Remember, he left part of the game against the Packers because his groin injury emerged. Then a couple weeks ago, he had a shoulder injury. So he's been playing through 3 major injuries to impact his ability to play. And again, I'm not here to debate whether you think he's good, bad, or whatever, but just let this sink in. This young man has gone out there when most other people said, nah, I can't play this week. I can't play optimally. I'm going to sit on the sideline. I'm not going to do that to the team and, just put myself out there in a position to be less than effective. What has Terry Arnold done prior to yesterday's press conference? He's continued to go out on the field and said, hey, you need me. I'm here and I'm available for you. Whether you like him or don't like him, we can probably all at least respect that he powered through as far as into the season he could with those 3 injuries, and they weren't apparently getting better. He talked to reporters and said, maybe I'm playing 65 to 70% because everything is slowing me down. Give him some credit for that, whether you like him or not. I don't know if he'll be back this year. I don't know the severity of the shoulder. I have reached out to some people. They don't have that information either. My anticipation is probably either today, tomorrow, or sometime this week, we'll all get some firmer information from the Detroit Lions regarding Terry Arnold. I do suspect it's probably something to do with his shoulder, and they're trying to get other opinions before they make a firm commitment one way or the other. What are they going to do with TA? I hope he returns. I think with all the injuries that we knew about, plus what he was doing, it doesn't have to be your opinion. It's just my opinion. I thought the young man was developing, but he's also playing one of the most difficult positions in pro sports to play. Cornerback, man-to-man in the NFL, no safety help. And you know what? If you get burned, that's a touchdown. Think of Meek Robertson's big touchdown to Chase, Jamar Chase late in the game where he bit on an in route, and then, there was nobody over the top to help you. It was a touchdown. And that's Terry Arnold, every cornerback on this team. That's what you face day to day. Every once in a while, you get Kirby Joseph helping you over the top, but it's not going to be all the time. I got a lot of praise for him for fighting through the pain, the injuries, and you know what? He's probably going to be out a while. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Taylor Decker injury leaves Lions with questions at left tackle. Pro Football Focus by Michael David Smith. It is a big question, because while I like a lot of things we saw to the offensive line last week, we're going to see in a moment. Here's some of the Pro Football Focus grades. No, you don't have to agree with them. I get some of you guys don't like them. I don't always like them, but we can at least use them as a reference point. Taylor Decker's impact by not playing last week was very noticeable, and it's no disrespect to Giovanni Manu. It's his first ever NFL start. There were times he looked okay. Other times, man, he got roasted. Let's be honest. That sack on Jared Goff on the second drive, Gio, God bless his heart, everything he's doing to work, but he has not seen people like Trey Hendrickson on a regular basis, and those guys know it. They'll set you up. Hey, I'm going to give you this look, and then on 3rd and long, I'm going to give you something you haven't seen before, and you just don't have the ability to contain it because you haven't seen it before. Taylor Decker. There are a lot of fans that, sort of like the Terry Arnold story last year, that said, man, we need to move on from him. We need to move this guy over to left tackle, that guy to left tackle. Where somebody actually is on the depth chart, here's what I tell you. When they're gone, you notice them. And if in Taylor Decker's spot, you notice when he's not out there. So I hope he's going to be better this week. I hope he can play, because if he's out there, that Lions offensive line, it is one of the better ones in the NFL. Even with some of the younger guys growing, developing, you could see clearly they can do some stuff. Even last week, let's be fair, against the Bengals, they did some very good things. It's just the old adage, man, nobody talks about you on 60 plays, but the one time you mess up, everybody's talking about you and say, hey, get rid of that guy. That was kind of last week with Manu and some of the other players on the offensive line. It is a very symbiotic relationship. What I do here affects what other people do. Taylor Decker, you can put him on an island. Same with Penei Sewell, because they are that good. Penei Sewell, generational talent. And I'm not going to say Taylor Decker is generational, but we could probably all agree he's one of the upper echelon left tackles out there. Whether you want to say he's top 10, I'll leave that to you guys to, to debate, but he's a very good one, and we're noticeably better with him. All right, with that being said, let's get on over to Pro Football Focus. Oop, that's the wrong one. Pro Football Focus grades and see what we can dive into. Let me load some of these, and there we go. All right, we're going to start with let me get that on screen, try to help here. Bottom 5 defensive grades, Nowinski, Lacey. Lacey, I actually thought played pretty well. So I don't know exactly how they address grading people. As a defensive end, I mean, 57's not terrible, but it's definitely not good. That's probably the best way to put it. Derek Barnes, I actually thought played really well. And the fact that he had a 60, it would be interesting to sit down with Pro Football Focus and see, man, what do you guys look at when grading? Because, Nowinski, I can't say I watched him enough to have a fair opinion on him. DJ Reader, probably the same. But I will say this, with Lacey, Arnold, and Barnes, I actually thought they played well. Yes, Arnold got some penalties. Maybe that's why they docked him. But Lacey, I thought I would have said he's probably closer to a 68 to 70. Derek Barnes, I probably would have put into the mid-70s. Mid-70s is a very acceptable score, by the way, for those who don't know at home. All right, let me bring up a next one here. Sorry, I forgot to preload these things, so I'm scrambling a little bit here. All right, next one, bottom 5 offensive grades, Giovanni Manu. Probably not a big surprise there. Brock, the hitman, right? Hey, again, you can have your own opinions on it. Dweller, I do agree with this one 100%. Jameson Williams, it's curious to me to see his grade down here this much because I thought he played incredibly well. The only thing he didn't do is, get opportunities to catch the ball. So maybe that's why they graded him poorly. It's definitely not for his run blocking or in one or two situations his pass blocking because I think those are off the chart. You heard MCDC talk about it. I believe in the post-game show, you even heard Fox Sports talk about it. Tate Ratledge, to be fair, I don't know if I saw enough to have an opinion here. I don't think it was his best performance, but I definitely didn't think it was his worst performance. It is what it is, though. Everybody has their own opinions. I guess that's the fair thing to say. All right, top 5 offensive grades. Christian Mahogany, not a big surprise there. You could see him helping out Giovanni Manu, and the Lions clearly asked him to do that multiple different times. I get it. Gino, his first start, you got to try to help him out. He was probably pretty nervous, etc. Amon-Ra St. Brown, man, he can probably just live in the top 5 for the Lions production on a regular basis. He catches everything. He runs great routes. He blocks. You could even see him put him in motion more and more this year than maybe in the past years. Where on run plays, he's asked to go up and take out a linebacker, etc. And he does a good job of it. Even though he's not the biggest wide receiver out there, I think you guys all get it. He just has that kind of panache, I'd like to say. Sam Laporta, my knock on him when we got him is he wasn't a great run blocker. Well, you know what? I think he's become a pretty dang good one. His pass blocking is also improved. That's one thing I would say for Brock Wright. He wasn't great in pass protection last weekend, but some of that was he had to go up against Trey Hendrickson. They left him one-on-one with that. Man, I think that's going to be near impossible for 98% of tight ends to do. Block somebody of that ability level for very long. Gibbs, again, keeps showing improvement. I like how he's evolving as a running back, and clearly the Lions do too. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can pull up the last of the graphics here. And again, apologies for not having these preloaded. All right, Jack Campbell leads your top 5 defensive grades. Not a big surprise there. For those who don't know, 90 and above are considered elite level play. Campbell, there's still some of the fan base that think we should have never drafted him 18. I don't know. Again, have your own opinion. My personal opinion is he's one of the top 10 linebackers in the NFL right now. It's just the fact that he is so ranged, he can get after the quarterback, he can play pass production, he can shut down the run, he can flow sideline to sideline. You don't have to take him out on third down, although you can if you want to, because Alex Anzalone does give you some flexibility out there, but he's a complete linebacker in my humble opinion. Aiden Hudson, probably not a big surprise here, another elite grade for him. All he seems to do is get to the quarterback and then check to see if there's a flag on the field. He shuts down the run, he does drop in the pass. His recognition of plays. That's something I think you saw out of him early in his career, but it just continues to evolve. He sees the screens happening live and doesn't have any kind of delay getting to it. Other plays he just picks up on very well. It's hard to believe Jacksonville didn't take him number 1 overall. Alaquin Muhammad, hey, again, continuing to evolve, continuing to develop upwards. Alex Anzalone, probably not a big surprise here. Roy Lopez, again, you may not always agree with these grades. I didn't think his grade should be this high, but you know what? I'm not also breaking down play by play like Pro Football Focus. He did have an awesome game out there for the Detroit Lions. I think that's something we can all agree on. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get on over to the main topic of the day. All right, Detroit Lions, as you guys get it, they're getting a little thin in the secondary, so it's going to lead to all sorts of speculation probably this week, next week, maybe even going into the bye. Are the Lions going to look to acquire some people? Well, it does sound like we talked about this to some degree last week before the cornerback situation got dire, but it does sound like the Lions have kicked the can on a few possible additions. One of them, Asante Samuel. Probably don't need to spend a lot of time with you guys on that one just because we did talk about it last week. So let's start talking about some of the people out there. And I'll go through some of these. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. All right, that's probably as good as it's going to be there. So Douglas here, he's 6'2". He would easily be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Lions cornerbacks if he was acquired. Now, will they go out and get him? That's a big question with any of these, but it does sound like there's been some level of conversations between, the Lions and the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are still trying to fight for their lives, like each of the teams we're going to be talking about. Nobody wants to phone in the end of the season. But with that being said, if they do decide to move off the season and unload some parts, Douglas is going to be one of them. He has a 77.6 Pro Football Focus grade. Again, come to your own devices with Pro Football Focus. I use him for a reference point, even though I usually disagree with him. He would, from the moment he got here, he would be the best Lions cornerback from a grading standpoint out there. The reason why I like him outside of his size is he is an incredibly strong run defender. We all get it. What does MCDC want out of the team? He wants guys that will get after the quarterback, or stop the run and play good defense out there. He does that well. So you know what? He would fit from that standpoint out there. Run defense, and he can stop the pass. Sounds like a win. I would think it would probably be next year's 5th, 6th round pick, somewhere in that range if we were to acquire him. And you're going to see a consistency with that with all of these conversations. I don't have the Lions trading any kind of like 1st or 2nd round pick information or values for people. Greg Newsome II, again, another big cornerback. Again, another guy who can stop the run, because we get it. If you're going to play for MCDC, if you're going to play for the Lions, you have got to stop the run. This would be a 1-year rental because he's in the final year of his contract with the Browns. I think you'd probably get him closer to a 6th, maybe 7th round pick because he's had some struggles this year. You can see his stats on the screen. 18 solo tackles, 3 pass defense. Again, he is not huge, not like some of the other guys on this list, but he is 6 foot. He is physical. I would not be sad if we acquired him. I like his aggressiveness on the field. He can be a little bit hit or miss in the fact that he goes after the ball in the air. He is a ball hawk, which also means in man-to-man coverage, especially if you don't have at least a safety over the top. If you don't get it, that guy, if he catches it, the receiver, he's got some room to motor and get after. He can be a home run hit. I would equate him to those old enough to know this reference, Rob Deere. He's either going to hit that thing out of the park and hit a home run, or he's going to he's going to strike out. But I like Greg Newsome. And again, he defends the run. So sort of like, with Douglas, if you can defend the run and get after the pass, you probably can play for MCDC and this team. Again, I'm not going to spend any time really on Asante Samuel Jr. For those who don't know, he is a free agent. It sounds like the tests that I've been able to find have all come back positive about his spinal fusion, but nobody signed him as of yet either. So maybe there's more to it that most of us aren't aware of as far as, being a corner and having your spine fused. I got to imagine that's got to be a difficult thing to play man-to-man coverage, but maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully he can be of value if the Lions look to sign him. Woolen, some of you guys did reach out last week about him. I do think there's a possibility you can have it here. The downside is the Seahawks are still a pretty good team. They've got a real good chance at their division, the conference, etc. So I don't know if they're going to be eager to get off of trading him or just keep him in house. If you were to acquire him, you would acquire one of the biggest cornerbacks in the NFL. Make no mistake about it. There are not many cornerbacks running around at his size out there. He is all of 6'4". So in the red zone, especially, I would love it because you probably could take away a whole lot of portion of the red zone from people, especially the end zone. But as you guys can see on the stats, 15 solo tackles, 1 pass defense, is kind of fallen a little bit out of favor with the Seahawks for a multitude of reasons. I think they've just gone with some other guys who fit their schemes better. I haven't watched them enough to have any kind of fair assessment for you guys, and I'm not going to BS you. I don't know if he would fit from a man-to-man system as well as a zone system. The Lions are playing more zone this year. You guys see it with your eyes. And I want to say they've increased by almost 10% the amount of zone versus man versus past years. Woolen, I think if it was me, and I can't speak for obviously Shep or MCDC. If it was me, I'd move him to safety and then move Brian Branch up to play the nickel. I'd probably move Vontae Maddox to the outside corner and then let him play some safety in zone because you know what? 6'4" is still 6'4", and he can still run. What would you have to give up to acquire him? That's the big question. And again, my opinion doesn't have to be your opinion on all these guys. I'm not giving up more than like a 5th round pick. More than, if I could, probably more like a 6th, 7th round pick. It would be something of that regard because I just don't see any of these guys being worthy of something like a 3rd, a 2nd, or 1st. If you guys think there's somebody else we should go out and try to acquire, let me know. But these are the 4 that I came up with. Again, Samuel Jr., he's a free agent. Maybe that spinal fusion, it won't impact his coverage abilities. I do have some worries about his run defense, though. And again, the only way to know is to bring him in for a workout and test him out. Nobody has signed him as of yet. You don't have to give up any draft capital for it. As far as the other 3, I do think they'd be lesser draft picks, late day 3 type draft picks. If there's other people out there you think we should maybe make the phone calls on, throw it over to me in the comment section. All right, we got only a couple minutes till Anthony gets here from Roar Lions UK. Let me try to power through a bit of commentary. Michael D, reading salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, !1 pride. Woo! Back at you. Until then, I think Brad won't make any major moves until the deadline. That could be. Hope that I'm wrong. We'll have to wait and see, but they may have a bigger belief in their backups, Rocky Singh, Avonte Maddox, and whoever else, Whiteside. I liked Whiteside in the preseason. And maybe that's what they do. They just keep it in-house. But I won't be sad if they do make a move to acquire one corner. I don't think you need to go out and get 2 or 3 guys. I think if you can get one guy, Reed's back probably in 2 to 3 weeks. Who knows on Terry Arnold? We can only go by MCDC's words, and that it's going to be a long while. Bo, good morning, Duke Group. Jags, Pats, Broncos. What a great time to be a Lion! ! Woo! I'll take all the above, my friend. Michael D, did KC overlook Carolina because they were looking ahead to the Lions? How about the Jaguars? I'm assuming you mean. Jaguars are legit. They're 4-1. Trevor Lawrence is playing well. They've got some weapons. I like some of the systems they run defensively. They do try to confuse quarterbacks if they're in man or zone, and they do a pretty good job of masking it, in my opinion. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. KC in a must-win game Sunday? I do think that is correct. We better have some pass defense or we're in trouble. Yeah, I think they're going to come out and try to throw it all over the place, especially with our secondary being in a little bit of flux. Pat, morning all. Back at you. Tilla, Carolina or Jacksonville? I'm assuming you meant Jacksonville. There you go. Michael D. Oops. Jackson Jaguars. There you go. Jacksonville Jaguars indeed. Drake, we are still strong at the safety options. I'll go with that. Corner is just gas. Signing guys off the corner to play. It might be some truth to that for sure, Drake. Lauren, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. I can't believe Jags pulled the hour of their hats. All right. How about a rabbit out of their hats? Indeed, my friend. Michael D. Jacksonville, sorry, can't think straight this morning. Hey, have a morning delicious Mountain Dew. That'll probably help on out. Lauren, if Jax can beat KC, so can we. I'll go with that. Yeah, I think we definitely have the ability to beat them. It's obviously on the road. We're a little beat up in the secondary. That's not going to help. Until then, contain Mahomes and prevent huge throws downfield. Hard missing so many cornerbacks. I concur. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. How about that TD run by Lawrence last night? I did see that thing, man. Question mark. How in the heck did he not get sacked? That is a great question because and he tripped. For those who didn't see it, he got his foot got stepped on by one of his offensive linemen, falls to the ground, starts getting up, falls back down, gets up, and he's not slow, but he's not the most fleet of foot dude. Gets out wide and runs all the way and fights his way into the end zone. It's, Casey's got to be kicking themselves in the butt for that. Jess, Attila, we may need you to suit up and play Sunday. Well, maybe that we should add him to the cornerback list. Attila, let me know when you're ready to report. That was crazy. He slipped twice and still got up and scored. He did, man. He did indeed. Dylan, hopefully Aleem can play for me this Sunday. Well, let's hope he doesn't have to play cornerback. David, are there any good free agent options still available at corner? I mean, there's some decent ones out there. Are there any studs, stars? I know a lot of people are going to say Gilmore. I think Gilmore at this point in his career is probably more effective playing zone than man. Maybe I'm wrong on that. JDC, morning all, back at you. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. What a team, what a podcast, exclamation point. What a time, be a Lions fan. Woo! Hey, good to see you as always, Henry. Henry, what's up, a bunch of crazy guys? We'll find out. Good morning, Coach. After last night's Chiefs games, what do you think maybe the weak spot in the defense over at Kansas City Chiefs? I think the biggest thing I've seen from what I watched the game and some other games, it's probably too early in the week for me to give you a firm opinion. Their secondary is okay. It's not great. Their safeties, I will say, are okay, not great. Their linebackers are okay, not great. Their defensive front, though, does have some weapons. They can get after the run. They can get after the quarterback. And if Taylor Decker's out, that's just going to further exacerbate that. Hey, good morning, Coach. Okay, got that. Sorry, all right. Bo, Henry, I almost stole your line this morning. It happens, my friend. Jess, Meek and Rock play outside. Could be. Branch inside. Maddox and Kirby safeties. Yeah, it could be something like that indeed. Although I do wonder if they move Avonte Maddox out to the outside and then Rock to safety. Although I guess you're splitting hairs, and the way we run the defense, it really probably doesn't matter a ton. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. No time to cry, but time for others to shine. Ooh, I like the way you're thinking. Every team has injuries. Now, how do we adjust? I'll go with that with a question mark. Amy, good morning from the ultra fabulous Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Wow, that 99-yard pick six was awesome. They aren't the Jags who got annihilated last year, but they defeated KC, and we can too. Exclamation point. I like the way you're thinking, Amy. 1,000%. Henry, Bo, go ahead. I didn't remember the last time that Kansas City had a losing record. It's been a while, ain't it? And again, I think they're showing the signs of not drafting incredibly well. They've got some injuries as also. And the other part is you look at, they've been good for 5 years, half decade, something like that. All the extra games on those bodies start showing up after a while. Bo, no team is bulletproof. You are correct. France, anyone watched the game last night? I think Chiefs looked very beatable. I would say, yeah, they're not the same Chiefs most of us probably would have anticipated seeing this year. Amy, Bo, I am in complete agreement. Whoever thought the Ravens would be so low in the power rankings? The Ravens, man, I think the loss to us, more from a psychological standpoint, has had a big impact on them. They've lost their way, and for any athlete, you could probably just say any profession, you lose your confidence, you are not effective. They've been on the wrong side of a lot of short breaks. If they would have won against us, I think they probably would have won one, maybe or two of the other games. Obviously, the injury to Lamar Jackson is hurting them a bit too. Right, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you anymore. I don't know for sure, but it might be the year for some surprising teams in the Super Bowl. Hey, hopefully the Lions are one of those teams there, Henry. So long, I think our offense will need to be very intentional with controlling the clock these next two games. I think that's well said. Sort of like last Sunday, once it got down to whatever it was, 11 points. The Lions went on a very intentional scoring drive, moved the ball down the field, etc. I think you're right. Eat up a lot of clock, keep the defense on the sideline. Hey, it's hard for Pat Mahomes and the boys to score points if they don't have the ball. Let's see. Art, containing Mahomes will be a challenge, but we still have the highest scoring offense in the NFL. I'm more concerned with the Bucs than KC. If we can at least split the next 2 games before the bye. No, I'll agree with you. If you can go 1-1 these next 2 games, going to the bye, 5-2, I think that's a massive win. Of course, every win you can get just helps you out in case something happens in the future. Jess, good morning. Exclamation point. Will Decker be able to play this weekend? Probably won't have real firm information on that until Saturday would be my guess, just because so far this year, he hasn't practiced at all, outside of training camp. So if he doesn't practice today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, or whatever, it would just be kind of the norm. Well, Art, you are onto something there. Exclamation point. I'll take that. Fiver's ready. Is everyone ready to hear Goff has never lost to Mahomes all pregame on Sunday? I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. He's 3-0, 4-0, something like that all time, including preseason games against Patty Mahomes. So you're not wrong there. Final countdown. Those are not the same KC Chiefs, but it will be very interesting and tough game. Yeah, every game in the NFL. We get it, man. Tough. And that's Arrowhead Stadium is no joke, man. They will be rocking and rolling ready for that game. Henry, absolutely Art. And let's not forget the Jags. I'll take that. Pierce, need to move and fast. We'll see if we can make a move quickly. Final countdown. Good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Tori, you are right. Final countdown. They have played a lot of games the last 5 to 7 years, and it's showing. Yeah, 100% there. You can think about when the Patriots were good. They had the one thing that I thought really helped them out is they were deep across the board. They didn't always have stars, but they had effective players, and especially coming off the bench. Steve, didn't watch the game last night. How was KC's O-line and running game? I think they're solid. I think they're not great. But if you don't pay attention to them, probably like any professional team, they'll make you pay. Pierce, Steve Rogers, Holmes led in rushing, I believe. I think you're right about that, although, again, I didn't watch really the second half. It was too late for me. Jim T.A. was called for 2 PIs, but only allowed less than 20 yards when targeted. He would have had an INT if Joseph hadn't jumped in front of him, and now he is out for a long time. Yeah, I was actually working on a video breaking down, which I don't normally like to do, but I had some extra time yesterday. I was breaking down some of Terry and Arnold's plays so far this year, at least to give you guys what I'm seeing out there. And then the news happened. I was like, all right, I'll hold off on later on that. Tyler Newsome is what we need. I like him. I like the fact that he's a bit of a, like I said earlier, Rob Deere. He's either going to get some turnovers or he's going to give him something. Final countdown. Mahomes still leads the team with rushes. There you go. Jennifer, morning all. Back at you. Pat, Mahomes had more running yards than their running backs. And you know what? That's not going to be good for them because we all get it. What do the Lions want to do on defense? Stop the run. Priority number one. If you can't run the ball, you're going to force Pat Mahomes to throw all day long. Pierce, Tyler Sargent, Newsome would be solid and nice last name. Hey, there you go. Xavier, good greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Hope everyone is blessed. Exclamation point. Thank you for an awesome show you bring to this channel. We will conquer those teams with grit. Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, Xavier, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Hey, Queen Mary, good morning, Duke Crew, and back at the Queen. Jennifer, would love to see Detroit handle the Chiefs and Mahomes like they handled Lamar and the Ravens. We'll see if they can do it. Gary, morning, Mary and crew, back at you both. Pierce, also good morning all. Mark GT, KC gets a free touchdown courtesy of the Zebras. What a joke. Hey, let's hope that doesn't happen Sunday. Tyler, 11 on love, Pierce Sargent, Pat Rock. We win these next 2 games going into the off week and our chances of the playoffs. Yeah, I like our chances of the playoffs as well if that happens, for sure. Mary, yeah, watched the game last night. The Chiefs are looking so good. They are. They're going to be a challenge for sure. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, man of Steel? How you doing? Mary, good morning. Gary, Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust? I like the way you're thinking. Mary, good morning, Professor. The professor is here. Lauren, good morning, Kurt, and the rest of the crew. And back at you, Robert. Greetings and salutations. Thank you, Robert, for all you do. And I know sometimes I don't always get to respond to the messages you send, but hey, I do get them, man. I just don't always have a moment. Big Belly Lou. Let's see, Jacksonville Jaguars, Kansas City Chiefs was a good game. Jacksonville walked away with the win. They did indeed. Kurt Steele, Mary Smith, good morning. Mary Smith, Chiefs aren't looking so good. Jennifer, it was a stumble bum play for Lawrence. Yeah, I don't think they designed it, but hey, it's still effective. Mike P, yes, exclamation point. They're going to trade a pick for a starting cornerback. It might be. I mean, we'll see if they do it. I get MCDC. Normally, he wants to just go with the guys that are here. But let's also be fair that we understand that in the past, Brad Holmes has come out and said it. He makes calls. He tries to acquire some players that fit positions and needs. It's just whether or not they can get the right value on it. That's the thing. Or they get outbid by another team. I like all those 4 cornerbacks. Again, I don't know what's going on with Samuel's back and everything, the spinal fusion. That's no joke. And can he play enough man or one support to be effective for the Detroit Lions needs? That I can't answer. Kurt Steele, Lauren Van Esch, good morning. JDC, I ain't scared. Go Lions! Exclamation point. Lionel, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew Worldwide! Exclamation point. Maybe Aaron Glenn would consider giving up the quote sauce. They've yet to win one. Ooh, I hadn't even thought about that. I gotta imagine you're giving up more than a 7th, 6th, or 5th round pick to get Sauce Gardner. But man, if you could add him to the secondary, looking pretty good. Big D, the corner from Seattle would be the best fit. He's gimme and full of grit. I'll take all that. Southwest, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Woo! Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking, my friend. Good to see you, man. It feels like it's been a hot second. Taylor Made is eviscerated. He was eviscerated indeed. Walt, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Woo! As always to you, Walt, the Central Scrutinizer. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! It's a good thing Brad keeps some money for just this scenario. Yeah, Lions are currently $27 million in available cap space, so quite a bit. They could easily add a player or two, whatever they want to do, and still have a lot of money to roll over to next year, which I think we all get. They want to roll over a lot of that money, that cap to next year to help alleviate things. I think you can still make some moves and still achieve that goal. Kurt Steele, the Lions have more weapons than the Jags. If the O-line holds up, Detroit can put up a bunch of points on KC. Yeah, I think that's well said. You know, Professor, you can let me know. You can Scooby-Doo this, but I just don't see, other than their defensive line, a whole lot of firm options for the Kansas City defense to stop us. I mean, they've got guys out there, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any of them. I just don't think they have playmakers or stars at this point. Thank you, friends. Good morning, Captain Dan and the Duke Crew, all stars. Back at you, Big D. Mr. Steele, what's crack-a-lackin'? We'll find out. Mike P, I feel the need for Snead. Hey, there you go. Ooh, I didn't even think about Snead from Tennessee. Mary, I can't afford Sauce and not going to give up a whole lot to acquire him. Yeah, it would cost to get him. I think we all agree on that. Grit Steele, Big D, what up, though? George and Brad I trust too. Big D, the corner from the Browns would be nice too. Yeah, I like him indeed. Big D, some grit D, different day, my friend. Hasani Malik, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Yes, I did watch Kansas City. Man, you were up late. We have to get ready for their 3-2. We'll come angry. 2, go Lions. Hey, you got to go Lions on 100%. Good to see you this afternoon for you. Mary Smith, Big D, I like him too. Walt Marks made a live show for a change. Woo! Hey, I know it's you can't always do it, but I'm always appreciative when you do, Walt. I think the Duke Crew does appreciate it too. Big D, Miss Mary, he's nice, would be good fit. Yes, a fit indeed. Laughing out loud. Don Kong, Lions own the North. So far, that is correct. Don Kong must win in KC. I think for KC, yeah, you lose this game. Ouch. Big D, Mr. Madley, I think KC is 2-3 now. Correct with that. Mike P, link to Mike Payton's article. Kurt Steele, Lions have averaged 40 points over the past 4 games. Yeah, let that sink in. Big D, 162 points last 4 games. Yes, indeed. Ziggy and friends, Jared Goff. Yeah, we're getting a lot of chance for that, aren't we? I want to say there was some Sunday too. Gary, I think the last time we played the Chiefs, we figured out Mahomes and Hutch and Muhammad were going to have a field day. They did indeed. Kurt Steele, Big D, yes, sir. Exclamation point. Ben, who? That's a question. Big D, Ziggy and friends, MVP. I think he's got a real good chance, especially if we keep going. You know, Allen's had a good season, but is anybody else other than him really in the running? I don't know. I think you got a lot of guys that could fit into the mix. Phil, good morning. Good morning, Phil. Nice new thumbnail of a boat on water. JDC, Dre Ford's rocks and he rolls. Michael, 15-2 last year and wasn't MVP. There's no way the NFL will make him MVP. Who knows, man? We'll have to wait and see. Kurt Steele, Michael, same way MCDC hasn't won Coach of the Year. Very accurate point. Central Scrutinizer. KC is playing with a chip this year. Lions handled Lamar. I foresee the same approach from Holmes in Kansas City. It might be right there. Big D, dang right, Kurt Steele. Ben's gone, but the grit is still here. Yes, you got to love the grit. Phil, I hear Kirby is pretty banged up along with Branch. Lions might be in serious trouble in the secondary. They are banged up. I mean, you guys have seen it with your own eyes. Kirby's out there. He's powering through as best he can. Brian Branch, man, he gets a lot of cramps. He's got whatever that big cut on his leg from the other day, big bruises. I mean, they're fighting through it as best they can. I see Manley. Sorry, Kansas 2-3 in last minute. Exclamation points. Phil, at the moment, Kirby is not close to top. No, he's I mean, like a lot of football players, they're powering through as best they can. Those two, especially Branch and Kirby, know with all the injuries at the cornerback position, they need to be out there in order for the team to be effective. Let's see what happens. Ken, locked up. We'll see. Riley, good morning, everyone. Exclamation point. You're up real early, my friend. Hassani Madley, good morning, Mr. Big D with the thumbs up. Bo, hey, Riley. Dale, good morning, Dan Duku. We definitely need a corner. Let's get one, Brad. Let's see what he does. Dolo Dynamite, Cam Taylor Britt. All right. Let's see, Mark GT. Any injury rate? At injury rate, the Lions will need a 6-pack of cornerbacks. You might need it. Yeah, they do put a lot of stress and pressure from a schematic standpoint on that secondary. And not that they do on all the defense, but versus most of the NFL, they ask a ton out of that secondary where most teams don't ask as much. Maybe that's a terrible way to word it, but you guys get the point. Phil, are the injuries becoming a marker for something wrong with this team? Question mark. Not even halfway through the season, and many of our players are out injured. Again, it is what it is. You look across the NFL. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. You can play the most protected position in pro sports, and yet he's injured, and he won't be the only one. There'll be other cornerbacks that get injured too. Big D. Well, grip morning to you, Mr. Madley. Michael, seems the only thing that the Detroit Lions will get any real respect in this farce of an NFL league is to win the whole dang thing this season. Hey, let's win it all. I like the way you're thinking. David, good morning. All a win is a win, but we need to score. We couldn't be drinking coffee like Buffalo. All right. Lionel, time to start trimming the UFL waters for corners. Well, we did sign Whitehead, was that last week? So that's a good thing. Greg C., I think we're really going to feel it without him on the field, regardless of the PIs. Agree with that. I do think he was playing well. And you guys don't have to view it the same way. It's just my opinion. I like the way he was playing. Steve, Arnold's good. Nobody remembers Vildor, exclamation point, but I still miss Slay. Big play, Slay indeed. Where are you now? Until the hunt, I am a team knowledgeable when it comes to TA, but I hope he's back soon. Yeah, I hope he is too, but it does sound like it's going to be a while. Mary, looking at all the injuries, let's get them out of the way so we're set for the Super Bowl. I like the way you're thinking. Crown me king. Hey, most people didn't realize that Chance had 3 targets, only 1 reception for 3 yards. At the moment, he leaves the game, but Chance gets 2 tutties. T8, not bad, just handsy, and Cam Sutton got burned every week. Yes, yeah, and very well said, man. So, to your point, once TA goes out, the Bengals scored 21 points or something like that in the fourth quarter. Could there be a connection? Probably. The such scrutinize sometimes that PI saves you an easy TD. You have to pick your poison sometimes. Agreed with that, for sure. Especially when you don't have much help. Big DT is on an island since he was drafted. He's sticky and handsy. I'll take that over 10-yard cushions and scary play. You can tell them when he's left the game because the past game for the Bengals woke up. It did indeed. Big Belly Lou, Kansas City Chiefs going to lose another game next week. I like the way you're thinking. Hello, greetings, salutations, Coach Daniel Duke Crew. Exclamation point. After last night's game, our beloved Lions are going to do well against the struggling Chiefs, in your opinion. Go Lions, one pride worldwide. Woo! And back at you, Greg C. Time to bring Skip back. I do wonder if he'll be back. Coach Rock, with the NFL rules favoring the offense, just go ahead and try to play cornerback against these fast and big receivers without putting a hands on them every time. Every team is having issues covering. Yeah, it's not just Lions games watching it, but obviously everybody here, what do you watch mostly? Lions games. Sort of like my point with TA was against the Ravens. He got called for that PI in the end zone, but at the same time, you got him getting handsy while Hopkins is putting hands to the face mask, however you want to look at it, pushing TA away from him. One gets called, the other doesn't. Why? You favor the offense. Phil Decker knew he couldn't last long on that bad shoulder. He should just have surgery and rebuild that shoulder. I think he did, Phil, have surgery this offseason on the shoulder. It's just not healing up right. At least that's what comes to my mind. Maybe I'm wrong with that, though. Don't hold me to it. How about that? Big D, Manny will be fine. Just needs that game to get some real action. Yeah, indeed. Gary Hassity Manley, good day. How is it in? I'm assuming Cairo? Pat, Phil, I just think he had surgery over the summer. Yeah, I think that's correct. Burns, hate to be Debbie Downer, but the Browns had 3 or 4 deep passes they just dropped. Our good teams, we gave up 24 points to the bad offense of the Bengals. Hope the difference is better than I think. Yeah, but Burns, to that, how many of those points that the Bengals scored in the fourth quarter when TA and, man, everybody else was out of the secondary? Big Belly Lou, I think Manu is going to have a good game against Kansas City Chiefs. That's if he plays. Yeah, he'll keep getting better for sure. Let's be fair. Where he was when he was drafted to what you saw Sunday is significantly different. He has grown quite a bit. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starting left tackle, but I would say the trend is your friend, and he's looking pretty good so far. Big D, those numbers are freaking stupid. Nowoski had a great game. I'll go with that. Free for all, some of those PFF grades make me wonder if they saw the same game I saw. Yeah, I often have that same opinion. Phil, if Decker did have surgery, he knew he shouldn't be playing. I've had both shoulders fixed, 5-month recovery, and I don't play sports. Might be, yeah, maybe that's why they're not having him practice a little bit, try to help with the shoulder. Until then, Burns, both those numbers were garbage time touchdowns, and even the NFL got bored being up 28-3. Could be. Big D, Saturday morning inspection just did another show on tape for the Cincinnati game, and he showed how he killed it. Yep, I'll go with that. Phil, Lions could possibly use Houston right now. Looks like he's bent his back. Yeah, and you guys already know my opinion, at least if you watch this show for a year or so. I really like James Houston. Till then, and the answer to your question, the defense is better than you think and will be even better with a top 3 defensive tackle, Lee McNeil, back. Yeah, and give him time to get back to being him. Big D Tate was an angry gorilla in that game. I like what we're seeing out of him so far, and I know I've talked about it in prior episodes. I don't know if you're seeing another rookie offensive lineman play quite as well as him. It's not that any rookie isn't going to mess up, but I think he's doing pretty good. Gary, agreed, Big Belly Blue. Not everyone is Trey Hendrickson. I'll go with that. Greg C. Jack is a stud, period. I'll take that. JC Gilly, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. I think PFF grades off stats, not what the player is asked to do by the team. Yeah, correct with that. You have to keep that in mind. Not everybody coaches the same, has the same schemes, schematics, and because of that, they're not all going to do the things the same. The dogs seem to agree. David, Lions need to see coach more. Corners need to run routes like receivers. You have to cut on a dime, plant your foot when the receiver cuts. Watch defenders run a swiping route to corner. All right, I'll go with that. Ron, Jared Goff is the MVP man of year. Could be. The Big M, Manu going to get Goff seriously injured. Lucky Goff wasn't concussed on that play. By the way, his head snap back was ugly. Yeah, you don't want your quarterbacks taking hits for sure. Ziggy and friends, did you see James Houston Dallas playing pretty good? I have seen that. Yep, I think we should have gave him a little bit more time like we did Barnes. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the coaching staff decided to move on from him. Ron, KJ is the top 3 safety. I'll take that. Johnny Gas Sports, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point, back at you. Gary, you saw it too, doggy. All right, let's see. Moonscar, good morning, crew, and always good to see you. Big D, Newsome is the one. We'll see if they can go get him, especially on the final year of his contract. You probably don't have a big long-term commitment to him. Gary, you saw it, doggy. Moonscar Blade, 434 watching and 101 likes. Hit that like button. Hit the like and subscribe if you would, please. Let's see. WTMN TV. What's up, y'all? Good morning, and back at you. Gary, you saw it too, Ziggy. Well, I think we all did. Yep. Lionel, bring back DiCaprio bottle. We'll see if they do. WTMN TV. Anybody getting tacos today? It is Taco Tuesday, isn't it? Lionel, steak fajilla is here. Tilla the Hun, quote, it's for 1, 2, 3 strikes deer out at the old ballpark. Yeah, Rob Deere reference. Bo Wolverine, exclamation point. Hey, I had tacos on Sunday. Hey, nothing wrong with having more than once. I say, Melly, I'm worried about Goff. He doesn't have good defense around him. If you got injured, Lions will have problems. Good, God, please, no injuries. Yeah, Goff goes down like any starting quarterback. I mean, we've already seen him playing a couple backups this year, and you see it around the NFL. Backups are rarely as effective as the starters. Brandy, Hassan, and Madley, praying. I like the way you're thinking. Zig and friends. Yes, Carrie, I saw it too. Southwest, I'm not giving up anything for a dude that's hurt. I'm over it. Get some healthy. Yeah, let's see if we can get somebody healthy. Pierce, Southwest, Holler, amen. Mary, yes, I think Newsom will be a better fit and less expensive. Could be accurate there. Big M, I agree with you. Hassan and Madley, I concur. Pierce, no injured history, please. All right, Carrie, TA sounds like a separation. I'm hoping that, we get him back this year, but again, nobody's going to know that for a while. Big M, I think Decker is dealing with a rotator cuff issue. Ooh, that could be. Southwest, it's time to start looking for young elite offensive linemen because Decker is broke down. Draft a top prospect offensive lineman in the draft. Could be. Yeah, we got to get to the draft, and then, I won't be surprised if we do that, maybe even center. Stephen, greetings, salutations, Drew Crew. Good morning, coach. Exclamation point. Did you know that KC's wideouts all run 4.28 or less? I did not know that. Thank you for that information. Mary Smith, I think TA tore his rotary cup. I'll go with that. I hope not, man. If he did, he probably is out for the year. Dennis, I keep saying Kansas City is weak against the run. They are. John, for the people that hate Arnold, what happened after he left the game last week? Question mark. 3 passing touchdowns were allowed. They were indeed. Kerry, I've been dealing with a cuff issue for the last 4 years. Sorry to hear that. Big M, sorry to hear that. Kerry, famous RW, good morning, coach, and greetings, salutations, crew. Woo! Exclamation point. Going to be upset off Kansas City team versus a prepared Lions team. Let's go. I like the way you're thinking. Thomas, don't forget the Hollywood flu. It seems like every team that plays us loses the next week, or we put them into a spiral. Ooh, that might be accurate. Lauren, should I start Drake May in fantasy next week over Mahomes? I'll let you decide that. I don't know enough about fantasy. Thomas, Burger Wipe, the like, y'all, if you would, please. Jeremiah, what's up, Duke Crew? Exclamation point. Is Brad still going to trade for Cam Jordan and Carl Granderson if we get a cornerback? Question mark. We still need a pass rush. We do lead the NFC in sacks, and we're number 2 in the NFL. So it's a great question, Jeremiah. I don't know. I think at least in my opinion right now, cornerback's the bigger concern, but anytime you can add talent to the team, you're going to try to do that, I would assume. So I like the way you're thinking. Big MTA is a big loss, not only for this year, but particularly he was losing important reps for his growth at his position. Agreed. Vernon, coach, don't you think Skipper is a little better than Manu? Well, he's got more experience for sure, without question. Physically, is he better? No, but, it just comes down to who do you think is better right now. Only the coaches can answer that. If Skipper is, if his mobility is limited, you probably don't want him out there. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Glad to see you as always, my friend. Scott, I'm starting to wonder if the intensity of our practices is what's wearing down our players to the point they can't stay healthy in games. Never seen the amount of injuries we have had. Yeah, it's noticeable, isn't it? Thomas, yes, Skipper is better at this moment than Manu. Could be right. Hey, what's this? Ziggy and friends, you know what? That's going to get the delicious hot dog and Mountain Dew at Circle K. And you know what? Thank you very much for that. Just for that, I want to give you this. How about a 1, 2, and a 3? And again, thank you very much for that. Very, very, very kind of you. Let's see, Thomas. I pray our O-line pass blocks better than the Jags O-line did. Goff will not be as mobile if Goff has time. 280-plus yards, 3 touchdowns more. I'll go with that. Oh, I like the way you're thinking. Jacob, the injury experience last year will give us a leg up in managing these injuries this year because I think Dan Campbell anticipated those injuries this year. We did talk about in the preseason how deep the Lions were in the secondary. Maybe this is part of it. Thomas, I'm still not impressed with our D. We're still getting up 23 points per. Got to bring that down to an average of 20 points or less. We'll see if we can do that. Happy Hogs page agreed on Anselm. He was great by the eye test. Really hoping he keeps it up with the pass coverage this week. Yeah, I think he's playing pretty dang well. Joseph, I'm impressed with our defense. Me too. Gary, why would any team give free info before a game on what to prepare for? That's just foolishness. I concur. Thomas, don't care about the late scrub TDs given up by the D. They got to play the full 60 minutes. Correct with that, Brian? Someone's winning their first Super Bowl. Bills versus Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Walt, hit the like button for Dan and the Duke Crew. Woo! Thank you for that, Walt. Hit the like and subscribe. 1991. What do you got? Defense is good. Will be better. I concur. Big M, I like Shepard's defense more than AG's. I do too, man. I think he does in-game adjustments at a far faster pace than most give him credit for. Jet Setter TA can't be garbage because teams only score when he's off the field. Correct with that. I like your assessment of the situation. Thomas, I like Manu, but not this year. Exclamation point. Next, maybe. Remember, he's projecting the franchise. He almost got Goff killed twice. He's improving, but not ready yet. Okay. Pat, I don't want to give up any draft picks. Yeah, well, I don't know if we'll get anybody for free then. Let's see, Bo, interesting stat per PFF. Jamar Chase had 3 tackles chasing down Lions defenders. Yeah, thanks for sending me that yesterday. Might have some KC receivers doing the same. Let's hope so. Kerry, not everyone is Trey. Thomas, His real issue is grabbing, holding. Yes, it works once he comes back. Tape up his hands in practice. Works. You play the way you practice. All right, Thomas. Lions have had to average 40 to win. That's what a real concern. All right, Bo. Baker Mayfield might be in the running for MVP as well. Good call on that. Yeah, he is playing pretty dang well. Science Service. you have to go have a willing trade partner. You're correct. Yeah, you can't just force people to trade. You think that we ever have ammunition to trade? We have no third-round picks. We got some ammunition for sure, just whether or not it works out for both teams. But good point, Sound Service. Southwest, Lamar Jackson will win MVP. He gets overhyped a lot. That might be accurate. Paperback fan, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Pride of Detroit has us looking at Trey Hawkins at cornerback. I'll have to check that out. Tell the Hunt, if I had $1 for every time someone mentioned taping up TA's hands the perks, you have a few dollars. Thomas, I love Captain Jack, exclamation point. He's a stud, but I would like to see him drive through the ball carrier. Hang on, drag, giving up a much after contact. Okay, Adam, 77. All right, I'll go with that. Thomas, hey, TA was not always on Chase. Hard to say TA would have stopped him. We'll find out. Moonscar Blade, injuries across the league are getting ridiculous. Every time I get an alert from ESPN, it's Scheffler reporting another running back or wide receiver or quarterback going on to the IR lately. Hey, it's football, man. It's a nasty sport, man, as far as injuries on the body. Moonscar, since the NFL stopped the 2-a-days because of Corey Slissinger's injuries are increasing. JDC, happy trails, go Lions victory. We'll see you next time. Thomas, do not, if Manu plays, let him go one-on-one with 95 on the Chiefs. He will eat Manu alive and bury golf. Man, that is some visuals there. Moonscar, get the dub. I like the way you're thinking. Brian C., I like every line, including Terrion, but he should never tell the press that he's injured. That makes him a target. No wonder Coach Campbell put him on our Coach Dan Lasso would have done the same. Fair enough. Mary Smith, see you all in the morning. Have a blessed day, everyone. We'll see you next time. Queen Mary, have a great day, my friend. Thomas, if he can get into the bye with no more injuries, me too on Houston. I wish he would have stayed. Got to get back Ahmed and get a bunch of practice time on the field. Let's see if they can. Mooscar Blade, hey, I was reading that comment. Put it back. Fair enough. Let's see. Oh, I didn't take any comments off the board, so if something missed, yeah, it wasn't me. Jacob, blown coverages and the greatest throw Browner ever made was the culprit in that late surge. Okay. Let's see, Henry Moore, have a glorious day and stay safe and enjoy the rain. Enjoy the rain indeed. Moonscar Blade, tacos, exclamation point. We're talking about tacos in my AI voice. Thomas, if we D Mahomes the same way we defend a Lamar, we'll be okay. Shadow him and then attack him when he takes off. All right. All right, see. I like every line, including Taryn, but you, okay, yeah, I got this one. Sorry about that. Brian, ridiculous to have surgery and still be hurt. It happens. Bo Booth, happy trails, Duke Crew, all done dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you there, my friend. Thomas, backups is the reason I like to play them when they're up by 20 with 10 minutes to go, fourth quarter, down by 20 with 5 minutes to go, somewhat ready to starters to go down. Fair enough. Moonscar, you did it again, Brian. See, I'm trying to read your comments, all right? Carrie, happy trails, Duke Crew, go Lions victory. Excellent. I'll take that. Thomas, I tore my rotator cuff, minimum 2 months. All right. Brian C. Tyrion should not have told the press that he's injured. That makes him, yeah, okay, yeah, I got that one. Sorry, I feel like I read that before. Michael D., thanks, Coach, for another great show. Exclamation point, one pride. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Southwest, that was a great point. We need to take it down a little in practice. These injuries are not a coincidence. Fair, I would agree. Moonscar Blade, agreed. Brian C. Ziggy and friends, I'll agree with that. Big M. Southwest, trade, destroy anybody. I'm not worried. Shake them. As long as our offense keeps that lead going, our defense will be all right and don't see any total collapse. All right, I concur. Richard, TA's main problem in his rookie season was holding penalties. It's still a problem. Yeah, it's gotten better, but I agree with you. Jacob, we need to concentrate on our strengths instead of worrying about our weaknesses. I concur. That's some real coach talk there. Thomas, it's time for Tesla to step up big time. Well, if Khalif's out, he will be asked to do more for sure. And you saw that last game, I think. Most guys see, folks, when you delete your comments, it still goes through to Dan. No point in deleting it. Yeah, I'll go with that. Miles Marker, let's see, laughing out loud. Moonscar Blade. Moonscar Blade is laughing. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. Get on out of here. Get on to your days. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you all at the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.